Good evening, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and guests. Being the Sergeant at Arms, I welcome you all in another exciting meeting of the Karachi Toastmaster Club. This is our meeting number 877, and the fortunately, this is our Speakathon of year 2021. Without further delay, I would like to hand over the charge. I would like to hand over the charge to the captain of the ship, the president of Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Rusa Kaba. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali Asher. Well, today is another first of firsts, a speakathon. Well, while I was preparing for my speech today, I was thinking how far we have come as individuals and as a joint club. When I joined, I remember I remotely did not want to be in any leadership position. And the only reason I came to Toastmasters was to speak better. But then the only constant thing happened, change. We got into the map of the district, we won international recognition, and we even started building ties with clubs and members abroad. Karachi Toastmasters changed. It bloomed into this beautiful butterfly offering its members opportunities to speak and to lead. And we got tech savvy also. And today we get event savvy, even if I hope that's a word. So one meeting is not just enough for our entire block of speakers. Now we do Speakathon on 2 days. For those of you who are totally new to Toastmasters, let me give you a little roundup. Toastmasters was established really long time ago, like some 70 years back, by a man who saw this public speaking gap among young men. He also saw a potential in creating an organization for public speaking where people would not just learn public speaking, they would learn how to really apply those skills, network. And with that time, that small institution grew into this big organization, which is spread over 143 countries, has more than 16,000 clubs and more than 3 lakh members, most of whom are professionals. Toastmasters also has a program for young people who can dive into that journey. And it is worthwhile for young minds to start formulating their own voices at a very, very young age. So with that little introduction of Toastmasters, let's start today's speakathon. Before that, I would like to take a little bit of introduction from our guests who have graciously joined us from very far off countries. DTM Naeem, would you please give a little bit of introduction?
Thank you, Madam President, Toastmaster Sakawal, Toastmaster, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening to you all. My name is Naeem Yusuf. I call myself Toastmaster Naeem Yusuf, though I have attained a status of distinguished Toastmaster 2 years back. I belong to Bahrain Eloquent Toastmasters Club and West Point Road Bahrain Toastmasters Club. I have been in Bahrain for the last more than 19 years, working in a textile company called West Point Home Bahrain in costing and pricing department. And I have been in Toastmasters for the last 5 years. So Toastmasters actually, but this pandemic situation is a blessing in disguise for me that I get a chance to move around clubs all around the world, and Karachi Toastmasters Club is one of them. And I'm grateful to Toastmaster Rusa Kawal, who graced our club last Friday as a guest in Bahrain Eloquent Toastmaster Club, and that gave me an encouragement that I should also attend a meeting of Karachi Toastmaster Club. Thank you very much for giving me the link of this meeting and opportunity to attend this meeting, and I wish you all the best. And I also want to congratulate you for the holding of this speakathon in the Toastmaster Club. Thank you very much, and back to Madam President.
Thank you so much, DTM Naeem. And our next guest, TM Shehla, from the same club. Please, a little bit of introduction.
Thank you very much, TM Arusa. Good evening and Assalamu alaikum, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Shahla Amreen, and I am here in Bahrain for past 6 years now. And I'm part of this wonderful club called Bahrain Eloquent Toastmasters Club. DTM Naeem is my mentor and and the other member in the club over there. And currently, I'm serving as the president of Bahrain Eloquent Toastmasters Club. Still in the learning phase, trying to learn and explore and see how the other clubs in the world are doing. And as DTM Naeem has mentioned, that this pandemic is a golden opportunity for people to have social distance but be close to each other through technology. We give thanks to Allah for all these opportunities. With this, we wish to see some great speeches today, and best of luck, Tia Marusa, for today's evening. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shela. Now we have, I don't know if you're a Toastmaster, Mohsin Bohra. Would you like to give a little bit of introduction?
Very much new over here. Very first time I am having a meeting with Toastmasters. So just working in PSX, Pakistan Stock Exchange, in internal audit department, and have a lot of experience in profession, but want to have want to sharpen my skills in communication as well. So want to talk and learn a lot, as the ma'am in Bahrain said, that still a learner and very keen to learn from you guys, especially the people who are experienced and who are eager to teach people like me. So I hope this suffices.
Sure, we learn from each other.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. Now I see a very familiar face, guest Mohammed Kamran. So a little bit of your introduction.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for letting me in. I'm a nomad software engineer, programming for about like 8 years from now. And before that, I was in textile industry for about 7 to 8 years. I have a founder of a community organization named Dev Code, in which we help developer communities to grow in Pakistan and help those communities who are falling and not able to serve what they want to do and empower the developers of Pakistan. So it's been 3 years we are connecting different developers to different communities throughout the all Pakistan, different cities also. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much, Mohammed Kamran. And now I think I saw someone else as well. Madiha Maqsood. A little bit of your introduction. Guest Madiha, can you hear me? All right, let's move on. Sony Merchant, I can see someone. Could you unmute your mic?
Yes, please. I'm here.
Yes. Could you give a little bit of introduction?
Yes, please. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Sony Merchant, and I'm from Pakistan, Karachi. And one of my fellows, Zara Latif, she told me about the Toastmaster Club. And I'm very much glad to be a part of this Toastmaster Club. And she invited me here to attend this today's speech session. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And I'm a teacher, and I'm working in city school defense campus past 13 years. So thank you very much. Like you all are here, and I really wanted to improve my linguistic skill and really wanted to sharpen my those skills which I did not explore it. So being a part of this Toastmaster Club, I am be able to explore my those skills. Thank you very much to everyone, and best of luck.
Thank you so much for that introduction.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Sony.
Rusa.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Naveed Aslam, I think there is another guest.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm Naveed Aslam. I work for a bank. By education, I'm an accountant. So I realized that I'm not very good in when it comes to public speaking or giving arguments in front of someone. So through this through this forum, I want to sharpen those skills and want to learn all of you. Especially, I was listening to you, so you are very fluent, and your the speaking style is also very good. And I hope to learn a lot from every one of you here.
Well, we hope to learn from you also something. So, all right. So next guest is J.A. I don't know what your full name is. Would you unmute your mic and talk to us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Javed here. I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Right.
Yeah, so my friend invited me for this talk is Latif. So I think he's one of the speakers today.
Yes.
So I've been in Australia for the last 10 years. Before I was in Middle East for a couple of years, originally from Karachi, Pakistan. So it's first time in Toastmaster, and best wishes from my side.
Well, thank you for those wishes. And before moving on to, and before introducing the Toastmasters of the day, I would like to ask our VPE, should we start with the business segment, or would the secretary be continuing it?
We should start with the Speakathon today, and maybe the business segment can come tomorrow.
All right. So let me introduce our Toastmaster of the day today. You heard him when he came on earlier, and you will hear him a little later also. He is none other than our Sergeant at Arms, and he will mesmerize you today. So please welcome him with your virtual applause, the Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Ali Asher Anjum.
Thank you so much, President of the Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Russo. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster of the day in the Speakathon 3. Before introducing the theme of the day, let me explain the agenda of the meeting to the guest of the day. Today's meeting is divided into the two segments. First one is of prepared speech, followed by the evaluation, that is the feedback and breakfast of the Toastmasters. Now, I like to call the role holders of today's meeting. First of all, I would like to call the grammarian for today's meeting, distinguished Toastmaster Tala bin Hamid. Please, sir, describe the role of grammarian.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but I'm the grammarian for day one of today's meeting. Don't worry, it won't go for 12 hours if you can help it. My job is to point out grammatical errors and suggest corrections without names. My more important job is also to point out good and creative usages of language and encourage others to use them. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, DTM. Now let's move towards the listener for today, and she is none other than very vigilant and observant lady of the Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan. So ma'am, please describe the role of listener.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. As the listener, I would be as the listener, I would be making note of all the interesting words and spoken by the speaker during the speech. And in this case, only prepared speeches. And I would be at the end of the session, both the days, I would be calling out the interesting words and phrases spoken by the speaker, and the audience will have to guess it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Hiba Rais. Now let's move with our next role, that is accounter, and this role will be seen by Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed. So Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed, please describe the role of our counter.
Toastmaster Ali Asher, I think he lost his signals.
Okay.
So, okay, let me describe the role. If he come back, I'll hand it over the R counter role to Naveed. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I'm the R counter today. Uh, Today I'm going to note down how many times speakers uses filler words. What are the filler words? Basically, a filler word is an apparently meaningless word, phrase, or sound that marks a pause or hesitation in speech. Some of the common filler words are or, you are, okay, right, you know, non-connective so, and the, and long pauses. In the end, I'll present my report how many filler words have been used by the speakers. Over to you, Toastmaster Asher.
Thank you so much, immediate past president of Karachi Toastmaster Club and Rana. Now let's move to our next role, that is the timer for the day one. Timer is Toastmaster Latif Mansoor Ali. So over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today is an exciting day and a hell of a task. My role is to note down each and every speaker's timings. They are basically allotted between 5 to 7, and I will monitor it. The minimum reaching time is 5, which is the qualifying time, where I will change my screen background to green. Then you will have another alarm warning on yellow, which will be allotted where you can prepare yourself to wrap up your speech, and my screen will turn into yellow. Then at the 7 minute, which is the last, it will be the red light. You will have a 30 seconds grace period. But if you speak more than 30 seconds of that, you'll be disqualified. So please pin your screen towards me, and hopefully we'll have an exciting speakathon. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Latif. Now let's move towards our next role, that is vote counter, and that is the distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid. Please describe the role of vote counter.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. During, now since we don't have table topics, during 2 occasions, all of you will be asked to vote, and the vote will be floated through Zoom poll, provided it works well. You'll be asked to vote for the best prepared speaker among all the speakers that have qualified, as well as the best evaluator. As far as the third vote for best big 2, that will also be floated. So these 3 votes will be floated through Zoom poll. And in case that doesn't work, then I'll be floating a link of Google Forms through which you can vote. As a vote counter myself, I'm not allowed to vote unless there's a tie. And let me add one more thing, that for some reason, if you can't access Zoom poll, if it's not visible to you, you can cast your vote through personal message so that it reaches me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, DTM Tana. Now let's move towards the joke master of the day, and that is none other than the very seasoned Toastmaster, the distinguished Toastmaster, Sir Sameed Hamid Dodi. So over to you, sir, for the joke of the day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ali. There's a first joke that comes out of what Toastmaster Naveed said about him being an accountant, a chartered accountant, and worrying about, okay, I can't speak. Toastmaster Naveed, let me assure you, in Toastmasters, we all have chartered accountants by the heap, meaning that at the moment, all 3 top positions in Toastmasters in Pakistan are by chartered accountants, and I'm not a chartered accountant. I feel like a Daniel in a den of lions when I see so many accountants. But anyway, sorry. Well, you see, there was a crow sitting on a tree doing nothing all day. A rabbit asked him, "Hey, can I also sit like you and just do nothing the whole day?" And the crow said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So the rabbit sat on the ground under the tree and rested. And then a fox jumped on the rabbit and ate it. And you know the moral of the story? To be sitting and doing nothing, you need to be sitting very high up. And that's what happens in management all the time. Over to you.
Thank you so much, the DTM Summit, for the wonderful participation. Okay, now let's move towards the theme of the day, and that is compassion. Compassion is defined as the suffering for others. However, it is an empathic act, but in my opinion, it is more than just an empathy. Empathy involves the ability to feel the emotions that others must be experiencing. But compassion is fueled by wanting to actually take action to help other individuals. One definition of compassion suggests that deep feeling for and understanding of misery, suffering, and the concomitant desire to promote its alleviation. Compassion is just not a feeling of suffering. It is to take action over it. And fortunately, I can see many compassionate people on my screen who has the suffering for others, for the people who could not speak, to help them, and we as the Toastmasters having that feeling to elevate ourselves, to elevate others. We all are compassionate people. We all are compassionate Toastmasters. So with this theme, I would like to start the first segment of today's meeting. The first speech of the Speakathon 3. Our first speaker is DTM Maria Ahmed, and her title of the speech is Pakistan and its culture. To discuss the objective of her project, I would like to call her evaluator, DTM Summit. So over to you, sir. Please describe the objective of DTM Maria's project. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Today, DTM Maria will be doing her level 3 project, Connect with Your Audience. DTM Maria, let me introduce her. She is a Toastmaster, senior Toastmaster, although she doesn't look like it. In fact, she was a Toastmaster before I was ever a Toastmaster, and she's the daughter of the founder or the godfather of our club, Dr. Salim Ahmed. So she was lucky that he introduced her to Toastmasters a very long time ago, and then she got married. There was a break, and I'm so glad that she's back again. So Maria, welcome home. Today, her topic is Connect with Your Audience. And the purpose of this project is to practice the skills needed to connect with the unfamiliar audience. The title of her speech is Pakistan and Its Culture. DTM Maria Ahmed.
Good evening. Okay. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, table topic master, and honorable guest. Today, the topic of my speech is Pakistan and its culture. Pakistan is a land of diverse tradition, culture, art, and architecture. It has its roots emerging from the historical subcontinent, which was ruled by various nations and a group of various culture and ethnicity, such as the Mughal emperors, Sikhs, Hindus, as well as the British rulers. So the reflection of these groups or these rulers can easily be witnessed in today's art, culture, architecture, language, music, and food. Even Pakistan has so many languages. It varies from 70 to 73 according to a research that was conducted. Each part of the country speaks its own language, its different language with its various dialects and pronunciations. Even the word Urdu is derived from a Turkish word called Lashkar. Many languages are a perfect blend of Turkish, Persian, as well as Arabic. So the languages are a reflection of a country's culture and art. Now the food. Who can afford to miss delicious Pakistani food? Why do we go to the weddings? Not to meet the guest or to greet the bride or the groom. Just be honest. To enjoy the traditional food, the traditional barbecue. Who can miss that? And the delicious aroma and fragrance of biryani or pulao or whatever the rice delicacy is there. I am sure you all must be missing it since the lockdown has been conducted. Even I miss it too. I don't need to cook it. I just have to go and grab a plate and eat it without asking anyone. So, tourists enjoy these traditional barbecues and delicacies and so many Pakistani dishes. And Pakistanis are quite hospitable, warm, welcoming, and they embrace the guest with open arms. Even in Islam, a guest is considered a gift from the God. So you have to treat him kindly and provide the best possible treatment to him. And the cricket. Do you miss the cricket? Yes, I do. I used to play cricket when I was young with my brothers. So cricket is a popular game not around the world, but it is also a typical street game of the country. Pakistan has not only produced best cricketers, but it has produced world-class cricket team, and they have played the best crickets or the best matches in its time. Polo is also another popular game, and in up north there is a very good established and developed polo playground. Now coming to the weddings. Weddings are an epitome of well celebration and extravagance. A typical Pakistani wedding can last from 5 to 7 days. It starts from a very basic event, Mayu, where the Hina application takes place on the bride and her friends. And then it starts from Mehndi, Mayu, Nikah, Dholki, the number of Dholkis the bride or the groom's family can afford. And then it's Barat and Walima. And the last day is usually a dinner hosted by the family of bride or the groom, either of them. And then comes the calligraphy or the painting part. Pakistani calligraphers are an expert in Arabic calligraphy. They are also inspired by the subcontinent artisans. So the Pakistani calligraphy can be seen in carved woods, paintings, wall hangings, architecture, and as well as in sculptures. So Pakistani artisans just need to sharpen or polish their skills, and then they can compete easily with an international artisan or an international calligrapher, I can bet. And then who can miss the everything is almost covered. I think I'm missing something. Yes, the food style and the music. The international channels or international platform has introduced Pakistani musicians not only on local level but also on international level. It has given them a platform where they can put up their music or display their musical talents, and it has introduced various poetic forms as well as traditional forms, and this can be witnessed in their language and literature. Qawwalis and the ghazals are typical of Pakistani auditory treasures. I don't know how many qawwals or ghazal singers we have, but there was a time when qawwals and ghazal singers were specially called at an events, and people used to enjoy. People used to request for a certain song, and they used to sing it. And building upon that, certain musical programs such as Coke Studio, it has given a diverse platform to Pakistani music. Millions of uh, fans have been amassed or have been lined up just to enjoy the Coke Studio, where the popular singers such as Abida Parveen or Arif Rahar, which were forgotten, but now they are cherished and celebrated due to the Coke Studio. So I can say Pakistan is a land of diverse culture, and but media is propagating negatively. So we should work hard or strive towards creating a better image of Pakistan. That's all. Pakistan Zindabad. Over to the table topic. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, DTM Maria, for your wonderful speech. Now, without further delay, I would like to call our next speaker, that is CM Mansoor Ali, and his title of the speech is "Where are you from?" His title of the speech is "Where are you from?" and he is going to evaluate by DTM Maria Ahmed. So I request DTM Maria Ahmed to please describe the objectives of the PM Mansoor's project. Over to you.
Okay, the purpose of this speech is for the member to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. And the topic of the speech is, can you just tell the topic? I think I'm missing.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? Yes, speech title, sorry, I got it. Where are you from? Good luck.
So 3, 2, 1, and go.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Imagine you are in pantry at your office having lunch, and all of a sudden, someone enters the pantry and says, "Hey guys, you're having your lunch?" What will be your first reaction? I am sure you will welcome it. Please come, join. But within your heart, I know what you are thinking. What other things we can do in pantry? Similarly, exactly at 5:30, like half an hour before, you are leaving office. Just because you have completed all your work, your colleagues does not feel comfortable and they throws a question on you. Today leaving early, buddy? How come? What early? It's about 5:30. I'm leaving on time. These questions are nagging you. But one question, if it's come from a manager, "Hey, Latif, what's up?" "Nothing, sir. All okay. Just winding up, leaving now." "Oh, really? Oh, it's 5:30. I didn't realize." It's okay, sir. I can wait if you want to." No, you leave. Just drive safe. Take care." Drive safe? Take care? Since when they are taking care of me? Amazing. This goes all year long. Any silly questions in the office comes. Why you are late? How come you are late? How come you are early? What are you doing? These questions are always there. The bigger challenge is HR meet. We have a team building activity. And over there, we have to utilize our skills and engage ourselves with our other colleagues. How can someone play, enjoy with such intelligent people? Of course, we have to play. But if HR asks me, I will say, put us in a ring where I can smash them hard. And seriously, these questions really bug me. Now, leading ahead, as if I am a 1970 child, everyone somewhere around will have grown up watching Bollywood films. And our youth, when they do some mistake, we always connect them Today you are doing like Salman Khan, huh? Biceps, having fun. Similar way, we have Fahad Mustafa, we have Fawad Khan, but nobody talks about them. If you are tall and attractive, you will be known as, today Amitabh Bachchan, what style? My friend, we have Alam Chana, we have Hamza Abbasi. Both are talented. You can name them, you can refer to them. Forget everything. Now, there is one question beyond my office, which really hurts me, and hurts me so much that I am always ready to punch that person who asked me this question. And the question is, where are you from? If you ask me again, I'm sure I will show my boxing skills. Let me share some incidents. Once I was driving at 80 kilometers per hour. Look who I found out. I found out a flat car, an old man wearing Pakistani dress, a big mustache. Certainly, I know he is from Pakistan. I stopped my car, I helped him. I'm a scout, so I've learned how to help others. After everything which I helped him fix his tires, he asked me, where are you from? And I was like, let me hit him first. Very politely, I said, Uncle, I'm from Pakistan. He said, oh, really? You don't look like Pakistani. A slap on my face and something which I cannot answer every now and then. Year 2020, when it was started, I was in Ministry of Kuwait to renew my family's residency. I have a green passport, mind you, Pakistani passport. I went to the minister's office to renew my wife's residency. To my surprise, he said, where are you from? And I was like, sir, I'm from Pakistan. What was his response? Oh, okay. Because many Indian boys marry to Pakistani women. That's why I asked you this question. Let it go. My residency was renewed. My work was done. More interesting, I went to a date, a fine dining restaurant, a lovely restaurant where I can have a good time. Of course, little bit budget conscious, but I went to a fine dining restaurant. Look what happened over there. We had good time as a couple. Everything was well. When the server was asked for the check, he went to his manager and he said something good about us. I'm not sure what was it. So manager came to us and he said, sir, hope you enjoyed, keep coming. Let's have more of you, and how frequently you eat outside, and similar questions. But one question when he asked, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from Pakistan. You know what was his response? His response was, your wife looks from Pakistan, but you are from... I have no words to express that I am a Pakistani. Moreover, we went for Umrah at Makkah. There were many restaurants, but we selected one famous restaurant, a Pakistani restaurant. I was loving and dying to have my lunch. With great patience, I managed to get a seat. To my surprise, to each and every surprise, I was pretty relaxed when the waiter comes and said, what do you want? I politely asked, what is good in vegetable curry? And all of a sudden, without thinking twice, he said, sir, after the next two shops, there is an Indian restaurant where you can have your own kind of stuff. Enjoy your meal over there. He kicked me out as a nationality. What a countryman he is. My friend, fellow friends, please make sure when you meet and you greet someone, the nationality borders does not matter. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PM Latif, for your hilarious
speech. 7 minutes, 22 seconds.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And I must say that after this speech, no one is going to ask you that where are you from.
I
Let's
still
move.
thought that he's from India.
Okay, our next speaker is CM Rehma Unif, and her speech title is Modern Day Wise. Her speech title is Modern Day Wise. Her evaluator is Toastmaster Iram. So over to you, Madam um, Toastmaster Iram.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Today I am going to evaluate an enthusiastic and passionate Toastmaster, Toastmaster Rahma Unif. She is going to present her Level 5 Project 1 speech from Pathway Effective Coaching, which is prepared to speak professionally. The title of her speech is Modern Day Voices. The purpose of this project is for the members to practice developing and presenting a longer speech or a speech of longer duration. So over to you, Toastmaster Rahma Unif. Best of luck. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Iram. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, these past few months, it feels like years, have been challenging. And it's like the floor has been swept up from under our feet. If we thought that virtual meetings were difficult or impossible, now they're an everyday norm. If we felt like having social interactions every day would be going without everyday social interactions would be impossible, now we have lockdowns. And if we felt that having an all over worldwide collapse in certain domains was impossible, now we are seeing it in different areas. So I would like to ask everyone if they can, in the chat box, I'm not sure if I'll be able to see it, but if we can have one by one people tell me what they think is a problem in the world right now, which was not a problem 10 years ago and nobody could imagine it being a problem. So can I please have some responses from the audience? Okay, so I can see the chat actually. So I would really want everyone to put their responses in the chat. What is one problem that you feel has happened globally in the last 10 years, which was not something you could imagine before? Okay, Imran Raza says technology availability, phone usage, great. So we have a lot of social media, we have a lot of technology use, which was something people couldn't think about. Okay. Cyber war, that is also related to technology. So a lot of issues related to technology. Yes, I am waiting for other people to wake up. Junk food is an issue which was there before, but that is true. That is true if you see the type of preservatives that are coming in our food, that is really a new issue. Glorification of wealth as an ideal and no moral compass. It speaks of Toastmasters, I love this response. Misinformation, social media. Okay, so as we can see, a major crux of the problem that we are having, or a modern day wise, is ethics, BTS, ignorance, media, increased consumption. So what I am seeing here is that a lot to do with technology and a lot to do with our changing world. So what I want us to see here is that as a world globally, we have evolved, but as a human species as well, we have evolved. In the primitive times, we had a brain, as you can see on the lower end, a survival brain, so, the type of brain which would focus on fear, and we needed to protect ourselves from predators. But now we have sort of evolved to a stage where we can think about higher emotions, we can empathize with people, we can, think about the world. But what that means is that we have progressed to a new stage, an information technology era. And as you all pointed out, technology is something that is, challenging us in different ways. But now that our brain has evolved, the monsters are not things that we can see outside. The monsters are inside of us. Now, with this evolution, we have created walls, even though the walls have come down globally, we are connected, but we have created walls between the poor and the rich. We have created walls between ourselves and between other people. There are more nuclear families now. And we are coming with other issues globally, which we didn't have 10 years ago. And so technology was on my list, but there's climate change, gender-related issues. Now there's COVID-19. We have education-related issues, politics. As you can see that in the Middle East, right now, it is in a really bad state. So that is a real issue. But what I want to talk to you about today is mental health, because this is a modern day vice, which is insidious. Maybe social issues are, less tangible and you can't see them, but mental health is not only not tangible, you don't even realize how it's affecting a population. And so I want to talk about this because I feel like if we are able to make progress in this area, we can really, really excel as a society globally and generally in the world. So I want to start off with certain figures, facts and figures. And the reason for that is that we often think that, we're a Muslim country, we're a developing country. This only happens to, amiro ki bimari hai. Like this is something which happens to rich people. And so what we imagine is, okay, people who are ungrateful, who are in the US, they're the ones who actually go through mental illnesses. This is not something which happens in Pakistan. And there are other viewpoints, there are other arguments. People say that, okay, the reason why we're going through this is because, we now have a terminology for it. So currently in Pakistan, there are about 44% of the population which is suffering from depression, which if you ask me is a very, very high figure. If you see the percentage of women and men, you see that a higher percentage of women are affected. And this is not something which is particular to Pakistan. This is something which is globally seen. Now, why is it that men have a lower rate of depression in Pakistan and globally, and yet they have a higher rate of suicide? Can I have actually input from the audience on this one? Why do you think, Toastmaster Rusa?
Maybe they actually think of going through it.
Okay.
Women
Maybe
just procrastinate.
Okay, that's a good response. Toastmaster Tala?
Have depression, but they don't admit that they have it.
That's okay. So there's denial, and maybe with women, they accept what's happening. Can we have any other responses to why they think that, suicide rates are so high in men, but the depression rate is low?
General, I think the society is the male-dominated society.
Okay.
It's one of the reasons. Maybe you can say that when women are marginalized in it's something where everywhere you can find it. So
Okay.
in general, I think that shows that how our society it's diverse. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So I will share my personal opinion. Okay. So who was that? Who seconded that opinion? Was it Toastmaster Simi? Latif. Toastmaster Latif agrees with that. Okay. So let me give you my personal take on it, and you feel free to agree or disagree. But my personal take is that worldwide, the reason why men are underdiagnosed with depression is because they present depression differently. So they will often have physiological symptoms, and you will not be able to detect it the same way that you can detect it in women. And so even though they might have depression, and that is something which can lead to suicide, it goes underdiagnosed. So that's just something we need to be cautious of, when we're talking about it, because there is a real problem there. There is a real problem with men's mental health equally as much as it is with women. So globally, the statistics for mental health are growing. There are about 450 million people who are suffering from mental health illnesses. and mental illnesses, and the rate of suicide is that there's a death 1 in every 40 seconds. And so that is alarming for us globally. And we need to keep thinking about why we've gotten to this stage where, you know, 10 years ago, we couldn't actually talk about anxiety and depression, and maybe it wasn't an issue. And all of a sudden, you know, we're seeing every other household developing symptoms like this, and the next generation especially developing these type of symptoms. So when we were talking about suicide, there has been a Dawn survey in Pakistan. And what they have asked the population is, have you heard of someone who has died of suicide? Have you experienced these type of thoughts? Have you considered it? And what they have found is that a large proportion has thought about it. They do know people in society who have gone through with it and who've thought about it. And in this survey, they were asked the top reasons why they think that people consider suicide. And the biggest reason was to escape pain. And to me, that makes a lot of sense, because globally, there is a correlation between mental illness, how bad your mental health is, and suicide. So there is that correlation. So the fact that people saw it as a way to escape pain makes a lot of sense, but it also makes us a little empathetic about why people are having these types of thoughts, and helps us get to the bottom of it and realize that what we really need to be talking about is not just suicide. Why are so many actors committing suicide one after the other? But what is the mental health issue which is causing them to reach to this point? So generally, you know, certain causes which are happening in modern day society and which are generally globally, you know, affecting us. So number one is traumatic experiences. To some extent, all of us have experienced some sort of trauma in our lives, and that trauma is something that we carry, but some of us carry more than others, and it comes to a point where it can cause dysfunction in life. The second thing which I want to talk about is the stress that developing countries carry. So we think that only countries such as the US have issues with depression and anxiety. But actually, if you sit in a gaon or a village, and you sit down and you ask people that, you know, you put them with the, you know, questionnaire, and you try to diagnose them, you will find out, oh my God, this person has anxiety, this person has anxiety, because they are experiencing really high level stress. Even though we've just experienced the brunt of it with the rain. But the climate change and the changes that are coming rapidly have really impacted areas around Pakistan and interior Sindh. And these places are undergoing so much stress because of all of these issues. So it's already a poor country. We're economically ravaged. We have other issues that we're dealing with. And now we have a global pandemic that is on top of our shoulders. So in my opinion, developing countries are more vulnerable when it comes to mental health issues. And the only reason that we do not feel like it's an issue is because we're not aware of it. And we actually have other issues to deal with. And it's not even something we are able to diagnose in people. The other thing is, someone said junk food in the chat. And I think that is 100% cause for mental illnesses, because there is so much sugar in our diet now, which was not something which was there 10 years ago. And what happens is that you take a packet of, you know, packed food, and it's going to have hidden sugar. It's not going to be saying sugar. It will have some sort of syrup. It will have some sort of preservatives. And in that, there will be sugar. And because of that, I feel like it has caused a lot of behavioral issues. It has really changed with the physiology of our mind. And it is really impacting how we behave, how we react. Obviously, there is a genetic component. And that's something which probably hasn't changed, because there was always a genetic component to whether someone develops a mental illness or not. But then I would say a side effect of mental illnesses is that there's an increased drug use. And Pakistan is facing that issue, and it is getting worse each day. And we really don't talk about issues in Pakistan, because we like to, you know, act that we can put it under the rug And that's how we cope with everyday stressors. We put it under the rug and then we believe that it's gone. But the issues are there and they're affecting us. And until we talk about them, we won't find a solution. So drug use is something which I believe is there as a standalone problem, but it is also interlinked with mental health. So there's, especially in students, because the mental health is declining at a very fast rate, the drug use is really getting higher each day. So, and that makes it, it's a vicious cycle. You know, the drug use makes the mental health worse, the mental health makes the drug use worse. Then there are modern day stressors and systems. You know, we did not have the level of competition that we have now 10 years ago. We did not worry about being this perfect sort of self which you can put on your social media. We didn't have that sense of comparison. I mean, maybe we did, but not as pronounced as it currently is. Similarly, worldwide systems have changed, right? So now we have systems which are capitalistic mostly and individualistic. And maybe that has benefited us in a number of ways. But at the same time, what that means is that we can't really openly discuss our problems. We are confined in our cubicles and our nuclear family systems, and the sense of communalism, which could really help us, you know, get out of that sense of loneliness, has been taken away. So a key factor is basically the stressors which have increased with our new systems. Now, we know that this is a problem and we know what causes it. And maybe some of you know someone in your family, have experienced certain symptoms, feel like, okay, maybe this is something that I may have undergone at some point in my life, but there are certain barriers which have stopped you from talking about it, which have stopped you from getting the treatment, and which may still stand there, which is why, you know, it's a barrier. So the first barrier is stigma. And I can feel the stigma right now talking to you guys, because if I was talking about anything apart from mental health, I would be so much more comfortable than it is when I'm talking about mental health, because there is a fear of judgment. And there is constantly this feeling that talking about mental health means you're crazy, means that you're not mentally stable, means that you can't create a life for yourself which is full of love and happiness. But that's not true. And what stigma does is that it, for the person who is undergoing a mental illness, it internalizes, the person internalizes that stigma to the point where they start viewing themselves from the point of view of other people. And they start self-stigmatizing. And that, I believe, is really, really harmful. The second thing is lack of awareness and understanding. This is probably the first time you may be hearing about a number of these terminologies that I'm using, because the truth is that we might have, you know, a lot of classes about engineering. We have a lot of courses on technology. We have a lot of courses on medicine, but no one talks about mental health as much as it should be. And even when I was applying for a psychology degree, I had such limited options. There were only 2 institutes who were offering a bachelor's in psychology, and there must be, I mean, above 20 institutes which are offering medicine. And I'm not saying that medicine and psychology are at loggerheads, or there is something which, you know, one is better than the other. What I'm saying is that each has its own importance, and mental health hasn't been getting that importance. Even though globally we've been making progress, in terms of Pakistan, a lot of more progress needs to be made. Then our healthcare system. We know that when we want to get treatment, we go to private hospitals. But what about people who have to stand in lines in public hospitals and they don't get the healthcare that they deserve? And imagine that if they're not getting basic healthcare, what kind of mental health care would they be getting? And the thing with mental illnesses is that just like, you know, cancer, cancer progresses to stage 4, right? If you don't do anything about it. Not always, but sometimes. And the same is with mental illness. If you don't do anything about it, you don't get treatment, it's going to keep progressing. And so with people who don't get treatment, and a large majority of people currently will be suffering from mental health illnesses and not getting treatment, it gets worse. And so it may get to a point where it is, even if it was recoverable And even if it was curable, it might not be cured because we have sort of, taken it way past its timeline and expiry date. The other problem is that our psychiatrists, our professionals, stemming from the lack of awareness, stigma, everything else is lacking. And we have one psychiatrist for 10,000 patients in Pakistan, which to me is really, really worrying. What mental health needs is more conversation, just the way I am talking to you right now. It needs to come out in the open. We need to talk about solutions, and the solutions lie in a holistic, multifaceted approach. You have psychological care. You need to think about things that you can do on your own, whether that's self-care, journaling, meditation, but you need to think about things where you might need a professional like therapy. You need to also bring in the physical aspect. So we can't just imagine that everything is in the mind. There is a certain role that our body also has physiologically. Whatever our body is experiencing is having an impact on our mind and vice versa. So medication, nutrition, exercise are a key component of that part. But then as a society, we need to create support systems to take away the stigma, to talk about mental illnesses and bring in religious communities so that we're not constantly telling our Muslim fellows that the reason why they're suffering from a mental illness is because they have low iman. Because what we're doing that way is that we're doing them an injustice. We're not giving them the proper care that we need, and we're stigmatizing them and making them worse. And I think I would want to end with a video. So if I can get feedback from you, if you can hear this. Can someone please open the mic and tell me if they heard that?
No.
No, we can't.
No, nothing.
You have to go on top and share your sound.
Now?
No, nothing.
In view options. Drag drop.
Little bit of voice.
Little bit of voice? Now?
There's a very low voice coming.
Okay, that's sad. I think I wouldn't want to continue with the video, but I think I'm just going to summarize it in a sentence, and send it on the group. But what it says is "Dobara pucho," like "Phir se," ask again. And it says that if you see someone around you who you feel is a little rattled or is not doing well mentally, ask them again. Ask them how they're doing, get to the bottom of it, and be that support system for them. With that, I hand over the charge to the Toastmaster of the evening and hope that you internalize this message and you give yourself the space to get treatment, to acknowledge that this is a real problem, and to give other people around you that sort of respect and that sort of empathy when it comes to mental health. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much to Toastmaster Mehma. Your speech is quite informative for us, and I must say it is empathic, and I observe many compassionate characteristics in your speech. Next speaker is Toastmaster Zishan Bayaz, and he is delivering his Icebreaker. And his evaluator is none other than the president of Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Musa Kaval. So over to you, Toastmaster Musa Kaval.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali. Toastmaster Zishan will be delivering his icebreaker, and the purpose of his speech is to tell us about himself. And to introduce himself, basically. So the time for his speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Over to you, Toastmaster Zishan.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Mark Twain said the most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Dear Toastmasters and distinguished guests, my name is Zishan Riaz and I was born in February 1985 in Rawalpindi. My father was a banker and my mother is a housewife. We have two sisters and two brothers in our family. Dear Toastmasters, I studied in different campuses of federal government schools and completed my matriculation in year 2001. I still remember the name of my first teacher. Her name was Miss Kaduz and she had curly hair. Dear Toastmasters, I learned the best. I learned about the best message of my childhood was the best message of my childhood was learned in the age of 7 years. When I was going with my brother somewhere, we saw a crowd where people were standing in the form of a circle. Actually, a stuntman was doing some stunts to get attraction of the people so that he could sell his tonic afterwards. We were also anxious to see this all, therefore, we get them back, break the circle, and entered. There we saw the stuntman was riding a one-wheel cycle on his feet, and he was saying that the one who could ride this cycle could also fly a plane too. Dear Toastmasters, it was really hard for me to understand that words, but later I realized that exposing yourself to the difficulties helps you to remain relaxed and comfortable in all situations of life. Dear Toastmasters, then I got admission in government college and completed my FSc in year 2003. And here the most enjoyable part of my life began when I got admission in engineering university. There I met with students from different regions, cultures, communities, and languages. I tried to engage myself most of the time in studies, but we also enjoyed parties, gatherings, and sports, etc. Dear Toastmasters, the most challenging part of my life started right after completion of my engineering degree. I passionately started applying for the jobs. Initially, I had some choices, but later I thought that any suitable job with some stipend can be chosen to start my professional career. Dear Toastmasters, I got my first job in year 2008 in Arya Construction Company. It was a well-reputed Turkish construction company, but I left this job after 1 year, being its contractual nature. Then I joined Bestway Cement Plant as a trainee engineer, where I learned about different machines and systems which I studied in the engineering. Dear Toastmasters, I got married in year 2012. My wife acts as a good luck for my future, and one by one, I have been offered better opportunities in terms of salary and promotion. We have, Alhamdulillah, got two children, a 6 years old son and a 2 years old daughter. Presently, I am serving as manager electrical at DG Khan Cement Plant located at Hub in Balochistan. Dear Toastmasters, moving from Rawalpindi to Karachi was for this new job was nevertheless a difficult decision for both myself and my family. Anyway, the decision was made after reviewing multiple benefits like a great jump of salary, career progression, and good reputation of the company. Dear Toastmasters, I heard about Toastmasters International from Mr. Usman Gulzari, who was the past president of Islamabad Toastmasters Club. I met him in a public speaking workshop at NUS University, Islamabad. He motivated me to join Toastmasters Club to improve my public speaking skills. Consequently, I started the journey of Toastmasters from Islamabad Toastmasters Club in year 2017. Later, I joined Rawalpindi Toastmasters Club as a member. Dear Toastmasters, lastly, I am keen to learn about latest developments and technologies. And I always believe in hard work, dedication, and honesty. I am living a happy life and I have no accusations with my life and career. I always achieved more than my expectations and hope to get same in the times to come. Thank you very much, Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Zishan, for sharing your wonderful experiences with us. Now let's move towards our next speaker, that is none other than Toastmaster Talha Bashara. His speech title is The State of Pakistan, the State of Education System in Pakistan. His, his evaluator is Toastmaster Jahanzeb Shah. So over to you, Toastmaster Jahanzeb Shah, to discuss the
Thank you.
objective.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I thank you, to Madam President and DTM Tala for providing me this opportunity and of this overwhelming session. So Toastmaster Tala Basharat would be presenting his project from Dynamic Leadership Level 1, Evaluation and Feedback. This is his second speech, and his speech timing would be 5 to 7 minutes. And this topic of his speech is State of Education System in Pakistan. And in his previous speech, he got some feedback for the improvement, such as he needed to improve his stance with more space and then some vocal variety. And then he needed to structure his speech in a way that it looked like a good speech instead of just an article. So I would be focusing on those areas, and I would be looking for some improvement and focus on these areas. So over to Toastmaster Tala Basharat.
Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Nelson Mandela famously said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Education shapes our worldviews, provides us intellectual nourishment, and gives us the necessary skills to thrive in society. Education makes us and shapes us into who we are. Keeping this context and brief importance of education in your minds, I would like you to imagine a scenario with me. Imagine the scenario, imagine the status of our government schools. Imagine the status of our typical government schools and the state of our education system in Pakistan. Imagine the dilapidated infrastructure, imagine the outdated teaching techniques being practiced in our schools, and try to imagine the typical student who goes into such a school and to attain his or her education. And then I would like you to answer this question. Do you think that the education system in our country helps our students to achieve the grand aims of education? I bet your answer would be no. The education system of Pakistan has many failings and issues, some of which I will touch upon this evening. First of all, the greatest issue of education system in Pakistan is its lack of access. Currently, 22.8 million students of Pakistan are out of school. This amounts to a gigantic 44%, almost half of the eligible school-going children who are not attending school. Lo and behold, Pakistan even makes to the list of the countries with the greatest proportion of out-of-school children. This is a national crisis and a serious emergency. Even the almost 50% students who manage to get some sort of education suffer from a lack of quality. The quality in our government and in the schools in Pakistan in general is abysmal and poor. More often than not, our teachers are poorly trained, our curriculum is outdated, and our infrastructure is dilapidated. What this means is that children end up having poor reading and numeracy skills. In fact, many numerous international organizations of good repute have conducted surveys, and they have concluded that the numeracy and reading skills of Pakistani children are subpar and much lower than our neighboring countries and compared to countries in South Asia. This takes me to the third. In fact, what happens as a result of this is that the students end up having poor prospects in life and poor intellectual nourishment. This brings me to the third problem, which is the abysmal government spending. Our government spends only about 2.3% of its GDP on education. As compared to other countries in South Asia, this is a low number. The country which we often consider our arch rival, India, in fact spends double the percentage points of our GDP. India spends 4.6% of its GDP on education, while Iran spends about 4%, while Pakistan spends a low number of 2.3% of GDP on education. Our government seriously needs to free up resources to have money to spend on education. Well, this speech would be quite like flying a rudderless plane if I do not suggest some practical steps to ameliorate the status of education in Pakistan. So there are two steps essentially. There are two solutions that I would propose. The nature of these solutions is individual, so that we do not have to rely on government initiatives. So first off, every citizen who is adult and literate can sponsor a child and thus teach him or her the reading and the necessary skills that would make the student eligible for being called illiterate. Thus, every adult person can teach a child, and even just as an extension of this initiative can be extended to financial sponsorship of children who are deserving. In fact, Sri Lanka, using the same model, brought its literacy to 99%. This is a huge success. Following on this sponsorship model can yield us great results within the span of a decade, just as Sri Lanka has done. The second solution, which might seem counterintuitive at first, is that every citizen who is eligible to pay income taxes should pay their due and fair share of income taxes. The reason for that is that the income taxes contribute to the overall government revenue, which essentially means that the more the citizens pay their due and fair share, the greater the government pie would be, and the government would have more resources to spend on crucial resources like education. Following on these two solutions and suggestions, we could create a significant improvement and ameliorate our education situation. It is said that education is the soul of a nation. It is high time that we start concentrated efforts to revive and revitalize our soul. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Tala Bashara, for highlighting such an important issue of our country. Now let's move to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Imran Raza, and his speech title is Live Recap. His evaluator is distinguished Toastmaster Rashid Dastagir. So over to you, sir, Rashid Dastagir.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. So today, Toastmaster Imran Raza is going to deliver his project from his Pathway Dynamic Leadership Level 2. And this project is all about introduction to Toastmaster mentoring. And the purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. And the purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a mentee. So let's see what Toastmaster Imran Raza is going to tell us today. Please welcome with big round of emojis.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Yes.
Thank you, DTM Rashid, for explaining my project. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, Good evening to all of you. Instead of asking yourself, how do you find a mentor? I believe your mentor actually finds you. While I was preparing this speech, I went through my whole life and searched mentors who had helped me where I am today. I recap my life and find out that there were 3 times where I was mentored. Not a big deal, 3 stories of my life. Okay, number one. Number one was my very first job and my very first manager, Muhammad Nasir, who trained and coached me over business management, like how import is done, its documentation, customs, clearing of goods, taxation, handling accounts. Later on in my life, it helped me a lot while I was developing software and its implementation. Number two was my friend Raza Merchant. We were best friends at school and afterwards too. I was doing commerce and then wanted to be a banker like my father. But seeing my friend as a programmer, I decided to jump into this field. Everyone knows even an IT graduate can't start programming without rigorous efforts, and in those days, internet was not available. So my friend helped me out to build my first software. We almost sit daily after office hours, and he trained me what to do next. This happens till couple of months. He also motivated to pursue me my master's degree in computer science and later on with other international certifications like PMP, Microsoft certification, and few others. Number three, it was roughly 2006. I was working with software company and I had been a part of team who were developing and designing money market system for banks and mutual funds. One day, my director told me, Imran, get ready. You need to give training to front office and back office people on that money market system. So I knew each and every part of the system, but my communication skills were not at par to give training to executives of banks. Now it was a horrible day and night for me. And that day came when I have to deliver the training. I make excuses to my director and ran away. You see, the fear mounts me every time whenever someone told me to give presentations, speeches, demos, and trainings. It's been a long time of hide and seek with communication fear. In school also, I tried to not to answer any question, though I knew, but I avoided completely. 2 years back, one of my friends told me that that about Toastmaster Club. In fact, I knew about this club many years ago because whenever I Google it, how to give speeches and presentation, Google always bring up Toastmasters website. But still I avoid it. I procrastinate. Like how could I speak every week, every month? But you see, a day comes in your life when you decided to overcome obstacles. A day when you want to chop your fear. A day when you say enough is enough. I was now 100% sure that even now, if I don't acquire this skill, I won't be able to move forward in my career. So finally, I joined Karachi Toastmaster Club, and what a day it was. I still remember when I came at KTC, TM Imran Lana came to me and asked, "You are guest. Would you like to take part in table topics?" I was like, table topics seems interesting. I have to sit and talk 2 sentences or something like that. But oh God, when I saw people coming to stage and giving random speeches, I was like, I have to meet that angel today. And guess what? I didn't die. I gave my first ice break speech and saw beach luxury washroom 4 times due to anxiety and fears. And guess what? I didn't die again. I can't remember in my life better mentoring that what ATC has done to me. So many angels at one place, people appreciating, clapping, enjoying, adoring, and loving. It's best place to be good at your communication skills. I am now wiling my mind that yes, I can also speak. I can also let everyone to listen me. I can speak my heart out to this amazing club, which has mentored me. In the end, I would like to thank all members, all ExCom, DTM Tala, Madam President, and TM Imran Rana for much supportive and mentoring me and helping me out to fight my fear. I would like to thank our late Dr. Salim Saab for laying down foundation of this club. Thank you very much all.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster and Ranvaza. Your gesture of gratitude is a great one, and this is a compassionate gesture of gratitude. That you appreciate each and everyone who helps and mentors. Now let's move towards our next speaker. And our next speaker is none other than the president of Karachi Toastmaster Urusa Kaur. Her speech title is My Mentor. And she's going to evaluate by one of the seasoned Toastmaster of Karachi Toastmaster Club, Toastmaster Najam Rizvi. Over to you, sir. Over to you, sir, Najam Rizvi.
Toastmaster Urusa Kamal will be giving her project from the, just hold on a minute, please. Toastmasters mentoring, and she will speak about her experience as a protege, that is when she was being mentored by her Toastmaster mentor. And but she will not be speaking about what the mentoring project is. Rather, she will be speaking about her own experience as a protege. Over to you, Toastmaster Urusa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Najam. What does every teenage girl around the world hear the moment she enters her teens? Any answers? Be careful. Be careful of this, be careful of that. The reason could be anything. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I had a mentor, a teacher who told me the exact opposite at a time when most parents would have shuddered to give that leeway to their daughters. Meet my English teacher. He was this small, frail guy who came from the city of Bangalore. He taught me how to compose in English, pick out titles, and as they say, wing it in English. But now that I look back, he was secretly molding the entire class of girls into young women of tomorrow. We read a lot of literature in our class. Romanticism, with an eye on the interpretations. Milton, Brown, Shakespeare. To quote something, alone she cuts and binds the grass, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the wail profound is overflowing with the sound, by William Wordsworth. My teacher always gave me this interpretation of such poems in a worldly manner. He taught me how pain and love could reside in the same place, be at the same time, and yet be so untouchable. He taught me how humans could translate emotions in so many different ways. A single emotion and a myriad of actions. For someone who was 15 years old, that was an astounding revelation. The power of observation and patience that comes with just waiting and hoping to see that things would fall together, that was a profound thing to be learned. Now, we were just teenagers, and for this teenager, the only interest that she had was other human beings. My curiosity was always high, and he took that curiosity and molded it, without even raising a finger or even his voice. And that has impressed me throughout these years, and something that has been so difficult to replicate. I believe his technique was so simple. Model it, and people will learn. We knew his children. They were way older than us, but we knew all of them. By their names, their pictures, their colleges, everything short of meeting them. And as ninth graders, all we could think of was what would university life be like. Now, being students of literature, we had really imaginative minds, and we were inspired to lead a better life. He gave us ideals, a pedestal for education, for character, for relationships, for friendships, without ever saying that those pedestals were there. He covered so many aspects of life in such a short time frame, in such a friendly manner that it really astounds me. I remember this particular incident that took place in our class. We were having this regular class when a friend of mine just started acting weird and really mean to another friend. Now, when confronted by my teacher, she did not stop and went on to talk back and say really mean things. Now, my mentor did not stop the conversation. Neither did he reprimand her. Instead, he asked her if everything was okay. Now, she was so full of attitude at that time, she kept on blurting out angry things. We avoided her from then on as a rule as kids. We kept away, decided only to speak to her whenever it was necessary, which was very rare. But my teacher made it a point to keep on asking her how she was feeling, and each time her response was so cold, so angry, and it did not change. I remember someone told me that he did try to reach out to her siblings, but I don't know if it was helpful. Now, a few years back, I got in touch with that classmate again on social media and really found her to be nice and amicable. That was really curious. I got really curious and I asked her what was wrong. She did not really tell me what the exact dynamics were, but I discovered that her mood was really affected by her mother being ill at that time. And what astounded me further was that my mentor hadn't given up on her. He had kept in touch with her, her family, and he kept her in loop, or as long as he thought he should have. In a lot of his teachings still remain with me. Giving people a second chance, learning about people from their standpoints, and the biggest one of all, you do not need to hold a degree to be really knowledgeable, are some of the things that he taught me. These days, I'm not in touch with him. But the impact that he had on my growing years was very deep. And that is what scares me about mentoring. The impact mentoring has is very, very deep. But are we really sure it is positive? We are humans, right? We do have emotions that can sway us. Can we remain unbiased mentors? That is the question I leave you with. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Husakabal, for sharing a wonderful story of your mentor, or I must say, a compassionate mentor who feels for his students suffering and all those things. And I must say that passionate mentors mean passionate students, and and if we have such mentors in our life, so our life is going to be a blissful one. So let's move towards our next speaker, that is Toastmaster Amir Bilal, and his speech title is a failure, and he is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Shayla, and I guess he's from Bahrain. So, yes, Shayla.
Good evening and Assalamu alaikum, fellow Toastmasters. So my speaker today is presenting his um, his project from the Path Innovative, um, His path is effective coaching, level 3, and the purpose of the speech is, purpose of this project is for the member to work with a group to practice reaching consensus on any topic. Timer, please note that the time is maximum 20 minutes and the title of his speech today or his project today is A Player. Good luck, my speaker, TM Amir. Back to you.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
before I start, maximum, what will be the minimum time?
Minimum time DTM Talha can say, but the maximum is 23 minutes.
Okay, so 20 to 23, is it like this?
Actually, the discussion will last for 20 minutes, and that's what's written. It should be 20, and then Toastmaster Amir will be expected to summarize it within 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Everything we do in life, we have a certain role to play, and we are certainly players. When we are players, there are some responsibilities that we tend to prepare ourselves for. And as one of the great speakers says, it's always better to prepare for an opportunity or responsibility than to have it and think about. Madam President, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, today we will be discussing about something which is more about rules and the players. And the players who have great contribution in their own learning and the learning of other fellow members as well. And I'll be continuing this discussion through a panel, a group of people, and they are really experienced about speaking on different topics, and they have a great command over different topics as well. So let me introduce our first panelist. Our first panelist is DTM Talha bin Hamid. He actually is a CA and he's working in Citizen Foundation. He loves reading and gaming. Plus, he's also a graphic designer. He's a poet, a public speaker. He's also a professional writer and trainer. And his mantra for life is do first and think later. And by doing this so, there'll be more chances for you to experience new life and explore new ways of learning. So DTM Talha, if you can say hi to everybody so that they know you are there.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you. So our second panelist is TM Jahanzeb. TM Jahanzeb is working in a renowned textile company. He actually is a head of marketing and sales for a European division. He's been in different parts of the world and has great exposure in marketing and sales and customer relationships. He truly is an inspiration for so many around him. And he actually is my head of the department as well. So whenever he speaks, you can always feel kindness and love in his words. So our next panelist is TM Jahanzeb. If he's with us, can you please say hi to everybody so that we know you are here and you're listening? All right. I guess he said something, so that means he's here. So our third panelist is TM Rahma Unaid. Rahma is really enthusiastic. You've heard her today. She's an inspiration. She's young, and she is actually a psychology major from IBA, and she likes to write poetry, read, and ponder over social issues. And that's what she has done today. And if you ever happen to listen or read a beautiful poetry, and I would recommend there's a nice person around you who can actually entertain you with beautiful words. So Rahma, if you can please say hi to everybody. so that we know you are with us and we'll be discussing a topic.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you very much. Our fourth panelist is, what an amazing person he is. He's happy and go-lucky person. He believes in living a movement. He's a travel agent by profession, and he's currently learning 3D animation and aims to create a resource for this and the generation to come. And whenever you see him speaking or doing some roles, you would feel that how on earth a person can have this much energy, this much commitment, and this much, passion. So he's a source of inspiration, and he's being one what he aims to be. Our fourth panelist is Team Latif Mansoor Ali. Team Latif, if you can please say hi.
Hi, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amir, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you for being part of this discussion as well. Our fifth panelist is TM Babar Ali Hasnan. He is an enthusiastic and energetic speaker as well. And he's learning humorous skills by choosing a path. He is a central banker by profession and a public speaking enthusiast by a passion. So without a further ado, we will be starting this discussion, and the topic we have is about rules and the players. That's what I say. And the topic we have is how to ensure that the members are more enthusiastic in taking meeting roles. So for timer, I have a request. Each speaker would have the maximum time of 3 minutes. They'll have to conclude their speech. And if you can please highlight or let them know that they are close to the time they are given. So I would request our first speaker to please come up front and say a few words or his opinion about how to ensure that the members are more enthusiastic in taking meeting roles, and inspire us with his opinion. Over to you, DTM Talha bin Hamid.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amir Bilal. It is actually all about what you want out of something. You can take something as education, you can take something as entertainment, you can take something as an obligation, you can take something as a good way to pass the time. And trust me, how you take something reflects upon how you do it. But the truth is not that easy or simple. It's a combination of all of us. It's also a form of escapism, because by this activity, we escape into our own little world where everyone is positive, where everyone is encouraging, where you're allowed to make mistakes, where there are no penalties for stumbling, and where there's constant positive feedback. So, no matter what you do in life, what you get out of it is often dictated by what you put into it and with what motives. That's very important, because many of us, and we make that mistake again and again, many of us go into something with high hopes. And that's unfortunately also one of the traits of our nation. We want everything for free. We want shortcuts. We want to put little effort and extract maximum results. We want to beat everyone else without doing anything even remotely as good as anyone else. And for some strange reason, we have this self-fulfilling, glorious perception of ourselves that we are the chosen ones. Hello, there are like 6 billion and 800 million other people on earth that also think of themselves as chosen ones. So there you have it. That's your competition. So I believe it's all about what motives do you have when you go into something, and it applies to each and every activity. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for saying almost everything in short words, and this is what the DTM Talha's speech is always all about. And I'll be moving towards our next panelist. She is TM Rahma Unib. TM Rahma, if you could please join us for a discussion. And the topic we have for today is how to ensure that the members in meetings are more enthusiastic in taking meeting roles. TM Rahma Unib.
So I would say that the first thing on the top of my mind is that there's a policy right now at KTC, and I don't know who came up with it. And I think it's great that if you come up with a prepared speech, you have to take a role. For me, I think that was such a key motivator to take up a role, because I was like, I have to take a prepared speech and I'm definitely going to take a role. And then I was thinking, why didn't I think about this, ever in any of my XCOM roles, that this is such an amazing idea. So I feel like you have to have that sort of motivation to push people in that way, that, they want to take up roles or they have to take up roles. But at the same time, how long are you going to push people? We can't just have those policies. There needs to be certain internal motivation for people to take up roles. So there, I would say the role of mentorship is really important. What we need to do is that, check up on people who are not coming up, ask them individually, because usually what happens is when someone asks me to take up a role, I don't know if it's happened to you, I often make time for it and I do take that role often. And especially if it's Toastmaster Tala, I say yes because he is very convincing. And if I say no, he has a number of valid reasons which he cites, and then I eventually say yes. So the thing is, if someone comes up to you, although it shouldn't be the VP's job, but as an XCOM, I feel like it's really nice if you can find people who need that mentorship, or who can really take up roles, or who need to take up roles, to ask them to check up on them and then tell them, okay, hey, you took this role, why not take this other role? I'm going to sign you up for this role. So in my opinion, that's the second thing that comes to my mind. The third thing I would say is that encouraging people to, I would say, having some sort of incentive, which we have, because we've brought in, more awards. So Critics' Choice Award gives the role holders like our counters and other people to, a chance to basically do better. So I would say having those sort of incentives for people who are doing well in roles would really help. Yeah, over to you, Toastmaster Amir.
Thank you very much, TM Rahma. And I believe you mentioned a few important points, and one of them was the Critics' Choice Award, which was, I guess, recently introduced a year back, or it was a part of meeting before as well. So we can do something else as well. I'll be mentioning at the end of, the time I have. And now I'll be introducing, and I'll be having our third speaker, TM Latif Mansoor Ali, who is the timer, and he's doing 3 roles today. First, the timing of the meeting, then my own timing for this project, and then the timing for the speakers who are in this panel discussion. So Team Latif Mansoor, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Amir. Actually, I would like to start with something which I've always understood, little late, but yes, I have. It is, you often realize that how close you are to achieve a goal just when you take a U-turn. You have to keep try your best effort. Because if you take a U-turn, you will realize a later stage that what you have missed it. Now, as a youth, I used to wait for every Friday. That is, it was Friday, which was holidays. And we used to play cricket. And trust me, I used to grab each and every kid in the town to bring it on the ground. Now I wait for Toastmasters meeting. Why is that so? Because I feel that investing in yourself is the best thing which, while learning, you can give to others. What not Toastmaster has given. If you open their website, on their first page, it's written, build a better you. Isn't it wonderful? Then you have hundreds of pages to turn. But whenever you refresh a page, on top of it is written, realize your potential. Isn't it enough to just open our eyes and grasp whatever it is? Now, my fellow friends and guests, those who are Toastmasters, I will not suggest further. But yes, we as an individual, after what we have learned, we have to give back to the community. And I take Toastmaster as a community. To be very frank, it has made me understood what I can do. I used to say this very openly. I don't dress for occasion. I don't dress for to impress. I dress for myself. But now, while sharing a podium, a meeting room where there are people more qualified than me, and then they are giving feedback. What an amazing platform. Yes, but to encourage others, I had faced few troublesome time. For example, 1 or 2 times when I was assigned an evaluator of an Icebreaker, you will not believe, I will not name it, but there are 2 members in the group actually. I forced them, speak whatever it is. No, I have some personal issues, I cannot next week. Why you have to? Because of him, they stepped back, I lost an opportunity to play a role. Trust me, fellow friends, this event is an addiction, but follow according to the doses what is given. 30 minutes every day, refresh a page, write a paragraph. You will improve each and everything. I've almost crossed a year. Trust me, I don't remember the wordings, the sayings, the years, who said what. And in my speech, you will not find those. But I found out myself. What is my worth? What is my real potential? I encourage each and everyone to step up and do this role at your best. Thank you. Over to you, Amir Bilal. Thank you. I can just share my personal stories.
Thank you very much. And these were really, really inspiring, and I love them. And I always love listening to you speaking by your heart, and it's always great. So I'll be having our next panelist, who is TM Jahangir. He actually is the presiding officer of Storytellers Club. As DTM Talha just mentioned, that we have 5 presidents in today's meeting. How lucky we exactly are, and 7 DTMs. So it's going to be a great source of inspiration for all the people who are just new to the club, or who, or all those who are just beginning and are juniors in their levels. So TM Jahangir, if you could please speak up about the topic that we have for today's discussion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amir. It is really an amazing and overwhelming session, truly amazing. So with regards to that particular topic, it is a very relevant topic as far as any club's growth is concerned. And I would say that if the people or the members are not enough motivated, then in my opinion, there could be a reason of the motivation level behind, like in all the XCOM members. So first and foremost thing, in my opinion, is to look for, like, if all the XCOM members are fully charged up, geared up, and energized. And as leaders, as TM Rahma maybe mentioned, that we need mentoring from outside of the club, that they would be able to evaluate if all the XCOM members are performing in a right manner, and they are putting all their efforts to push the members, or they are truly engaging all the members in a way that they are energized, they are engaged in order to get truly motivated. So as a leader, because it provides excellent leadership abilities to understand what motivates each and every XCOM member. So it is the foremost point, in my opinion, that we need to look for any opportunity where you can speak with any XCOM member to extend their performance, to extend their efforts in order to engage the members. And the other point is we need to make the themes of the day more meaningful. That is very important, and through which a lot of members can be engaged. Because I am a very strong advocate of using some social topics in our regular meetings, through which we can attract multiple members to be engaged, and through that thing we can propagate certain points which could motivate other members and other people to come up and bring new ideas and be more mindful and motivated to take different roles. So these were some ideas, in my opinion. So hope it would make sense. All right. So over to you, PM Amir Bilal.
Thank you very much, TM Jahazib, for such a valuable opinion, and I hope this would have been in so many hearts, and people would be taking it as a great learning as well. So I'll be having our last panelist, TM Babar Ali Hasnan. Babar Ali Hasnan, if you could please join us.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Yes, I'm right here with you. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak on the topic that is of big concern to the XCOM in specific and the club in general. We see, like, in every meeting that is being conducted on weekly basis, we have the same issue. People are either not really willing to go for the role, or what they all want is the speech slot. I think if we implement, like, at least these two changes that I am going to mention, we can bring the change and motivate each and every member to be the part of the meeting, not only for the speech slot, but also for the meeting role. I think the first best solution is to motivate the rest of the members. But like, if I have the role in the meeting, at the end of the meeting, I should come up with the skills that I learned and that are helpful in public speaking through that role. For example, most of the time I volunteer to take the role of Toastmaster of the Day role. And most of the times at the end of the meeting, I do summarize the skills that I learned, like people management, time management, how to pick up the pace, how to slow the pace, how to manage things, and then how to make the last minute changes. These are all the skills that I learned through the role of Toastmaster of the Day. So we can make it a custom to at least summarize the learnings, the skills learned that are helpful in public speaking and in personality development. Secondly, the most important thing is recognition. We do give recognition certificates to people in different roles, but when it comes to the frequency of attending meetings as the facilitator, we don't have any certificate, any recognition for that. So, like, if I have been facilitating a meeting for more than for 3 times back to back, it could be a triple play facilitator certificate. Anything that could make the person recognized at the meeting level and then at the club level, that would give motivation to the same person and the rest of the members of the group to participate and achieve that level of recognition. I think if you implement these two changes, the time is not far when people will be active to get to grab the roles for the meeting facilitation. Over to the mediator. Thank you for your time.
Amir, you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much, TM Babar Ali Hasnan, for such a valuable opinion. And I think what makes us different, if we are living an average life, and anything that makes us different is keep challenging us for something that is great, and that is for a greater cause. I hope everybody from you like sports, and there are almost 13 players in the ground. and millions of people watch them play. They chant and they clap for them. And we make the choice. Either we want to be in the ground and play, or we want to be in audience to clap for others. And I would say that it's always a greatest choice to be a player rather than a spectator. And I believe you are greatest player. All you need to do is to explore yourself, play your part in everything that you do in your life, and you'll touch the height of skies, and you'll be successful in your future as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining this panel discussion. I hope this would have been really helpful for you. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amir Bilal, for conducting such an informative and important segment. So here we are done with our Speakathon 3 round 1, and we are done with all our speeches. Now I would like to ask a timer, TM Latif, that is everyone is qualified, or there is any disqualification?
Thank you, TM Ali Asher, Toastmaster of the day. According to my timings, everybody is qualified, but I just want to bring in knowledge that TM Amir's discussion session ran for like 24 minutes. So I have to bring this to consideration.
I think we can go, we should ask the president, Toastmaster
His discussion was supposed to be 20 minutes and then 3 minutes. So it was completely 24 or just the discussion?
Yes, complete 24.
All right. I don't think that's a disqualification, or is it, DTM Tala?
20 plus 3 minutes, right? So since there were no, green light and yellow and red were given, so I think we can give that leeway to the speaker. That's my opinion.
Yes. So let's.
Okay, that's wonderful. There is no disqualification, and everyone is qualified for voting. So I ask Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid, to please load the vote, so we get all our guests in Toastmaster camp.
A few seconds, please. Meanwhile, I will ask you to introduce the general evaluator. It will take me a few seconds to float the poll. And
so as all the prepared speeches of Speakathon 3 of round 1 is done, so now it's time for the breakfast. Not a breakfast, it is the breakfast of the Toastmasters, the evaluation, the general evaluation. So for that prestigious job, I would like to invite a very dedicated, a passionate Toastmaster, the distinguished Toastmaster, Shahrukh Shanawaz. So I would like to hand over the charge to the distinguished Toastmaster, Shahrukh Shanawaz, for the general evaluation. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Am I audible? I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Evaluation. Well, the golden rule is that we should evaluate others as we want others to evaluate us. And I hope by the end of this session, we will all be still good friends and will learn how to improve ourselves. We will begin this session by inviting the evaluators for their prepared speeches. And for our first evaluator, I am going to invite Toastmaster Najim Ridhi, a very soft-spoken, kind-hearted, and a gentle gentleman. Evaluate our speaker, President Toastmaster Rusa Kaval. Toastmaster Najam, the charge is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Coming to Toastmaster Usa's speech today, her project, she was to introduce Toastmaster mentoring. And am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir, you are audible.
She was to introduce, I thought she would be introducing a mentor from Toastmasters, but to my surprise, she spoke about her ninth-class English literature teacher, whom the title of her speech was My Mentor. And I assumed that she found him to be the perfect mentor, or the most perfect mentor that she's seen. So her speech was very engaging because it was a personal story. That always makes it more engaging. It was something that we didn't expect, which is also always interesting to know something different from what you expect. And the way, what I liked about her general way of speaking, and especially this project today, was the way she concludes a sentence. When she concludes one sentence, you are waiting for the next sentence. I mean, that's her style, I think, very unique. Now, in Toastmasters, we always expect to be improving always. And for her, my two suggestions would be to basically bring more variety in her speeches. By variety, what do I mean exactly? Varying your pitch, because your pitch is generally the same throughout your speech. And then occasionally raising your voice and then lowering your voice. Like when you said, when you spoke about the student who had an attitude problem, maybe there you could have said, she lost her composure. Or when you were saying that we are all humans, maybe a little lower volume, we are all humans after all. So those are suggestions that I have. Otherwise, congratulations on an excellent speech, and over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Najam. Our next evaluator for all our members and showing us way in the darkness. I am going to invite DTM Summit to evaluate DTM Maria. DTM Summit, the charge is all yours. Is DTM Samir with us?
You're not audible.
I think DTM Samir is not audible.
Can you check your connection?
Okay, can you?
Yeah. Now we can. Yeah.
All right, just give me a second, and don't start my timing yet. Let me try to get my headphone connected because I'll be clearer. I think.
Yes.
Oh, is it okay now?
Yes.
Can you hear me properly?
Now you are audible.
All right, fine, thank you. Okay, DTM Maria, you had nice greetings when you started off. You said today my topic is Pakistan and its culture. However, it would have been better if you had started with something else like what does it mean to be Pakistani, or what defines Pakistan? That would have, I think, given a slightly higher impact. You started off with the history of Urdu being the Turkish word for Lashkar, but I think you could have even elaborated that how a martial language to gather armies became into a romantic court language, I think that would have added a little bit of more interest and value. Then your frame was generally quite good. I could see you. However, I think I could only see up to your chest. If you should have a slightly wider frame so you can see up to your a little bit lower. So then you could also see your hand gestures, because I could see you were gesturing, but mostly with the right hand, and I could only see part of the gestures. Your eye contact was good, and you were looking into the camera. However, a few times when you're thinking, you still have a tendency of looking up towards the roof as such. You then went off into the food of Pakistan, biryani, palau. And I like the fact that you used inflection at that time, very nice voice modulation. Like, they're not there to meet the guests, but to have food. So that was nice. I like that very much. You also mentioned about Pakistan, but I could think you could have mentioned the most important part of our culture, which you don't see in many places, the family ties. How the family is the most important thing. I think that was something that you could have added a little bit. You then went on to cricket and how you have weddings that go on for 5 to 7 days, and you mentioned the nikah, dholki, barat, walima, which was good because you mentioned the whole thing. You then jumped into calligraphy, and then you had the music, qawwali, the ghazal, folk studio. I enjoyed your speech, but at the end you went a little bit negative. You said, well, the media has a very negative image. Your whole speech was very uplifting, and then suddenly at the end, you started talking about the media. I think you could have skipped that. So you should have ended up with a real high. I think that perhaps you could have said at the end that, well, we are proud of our culture and this is why we need to celebrate it. That would have given it a slightly higher boost. I also feel that perhaps you could have focused on just one part of the Pakistani culture. If it was up to me, it would be food. And maybe if it was my wife, she would say clothes. But that would have, you could have really then gone into more detail. One of the things that I noticed was that, in fact, I have a bad habit of reading the whole manual, not just the evaluation, was that you were supposed to share your desired outcomes with the audience during the introduction. I didn't see that. And another thing was that you were supposed to select a topic unfamiliar with the audience. Now, we are all rather familiar with the Pakistani culture because we are all Pakistanis by golly. But maybe if you had done a little bit like maybe French culture or Russian culture, that would have really, nailed the project. But on the whole, wonderful, fantastic. I loved it. Well done, DTM Maria. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Sameer. Next speech was given by Toastmaster Latif, and he is going to be evaluated by our first generation of speakers from Karachi Toastmasters, DTM Maria. DTM Maria, the charge is all yours.
You are not audible?
Yes. Hey there. I'm evaluating someone after a very long time, almost after a decade. So it brings back a lot of fond memories I had with my father, where he used to assign me a well-created and organized speech. Humor was quite evident, like you want to punch on somebody's face when someone says, "Where are you from?" And your facial expressions also evidently proved it. And different experiences, like you shared, like one experience at the embassy, at a restaurant, or at a bank, like you don't look like a Pakistani, but your better half does. So it added quite flavor to your speech, and I like that. What I felt was missing, that you could have used a wide vocabulary of words, like your range was quite basic. Some other synonyms or some other range of vocabulary could have enhanced your speech. And you could also have asked someone to join you for the speech, like someone, like you are making you are doing a role play. Someone else could have come up and did the role of a banker or an embassy spokesperson. So I believe this was the part missing. Otherwise, it was a well organized speech, and I like it, and I would like to wish you all the best for your future speeches. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Maria. Next is TM Iram. She's a great speaker, a great president, and a great evaluator. And she is going to be evaluating Toastmaster Rehma Unib. Toastmaster Iram, the charge is yours.
Thank you. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are audible.
Right. Thanks a lot for inviting me in such a wonderful speakathon of Karachi Toastmasters Club. First of all, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Rahma for successfully delivering her level 5 project 1 speech. It was a speech of a longer duration, and obviously speaking for such a long duration is not an easy task, which TM Toastmaster Rahma successfully accomplished. She started her speech with a question about problems in the world which exist currently but not there 10 years ago. And through the answer from the question she asked, she developed a flow, a transition towards the real problem in our time, which is mental health issues. And speaking on this vulnerable topic is obviously not an easy task. Her spoken language and especially pronunciation was clear and awesome. Her gestures were fully integrated with the theme and structure of the speech. She engaged audience with well-constructed PowerPoint slides. She shared statistics about mental health issues gender-wise and adopted logical appeals to her point of view. She also shared one survey and again established a smooth transition towards establishing and supporting her point that there is indeed a strong correlation between mental illness and suicide. The vocabulary she used was amazing, and I noticed personally something amazing, that she explained jargon wherever necessary. This shows her awareness of audience needs. She addressed all the bullet points at the slide with well-structured content. She offered solutions after mentioning barriers towards improvement of mental health scenario in developing countries such as Pakistan, which is indeed a good sign while moving towards conclusion of a lengthy speech. Few suggestions from my side. Please try to deliver a speech while standing. I missed a vocal variety a bit, and I also missed eye contact with camera. You were looking upward, right and left, and I missed titles on few slides. And just a small suggestion that we do mention the source at the bottom of the slide while presenting some statistics or results of some survey. Overall, Toastmaster Rahma, you addressed a really sensitive social issue and shared a wonderful piece of information with all of the solution. Toastmaster Rahma ended her speech with a powerful message and wonderful idea, which is us again. I agree. We all have to be that support system which is indeed missing in our society. I hope that this speech is going to have a long-lasting impact on the mind of listeners. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Iram. Our next evaluator is Toastmaster Rusa Kaval, our curious president, and she is going to be evaluating Toastmaster Zishan Riaz. Toastmaster Rusa Kaval, the charge is all yours.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Zishan, you know the speech that we all love to hear? They are icebreakers. You know why? Because they tell us a lot about the person speaking. It was really nice to hear your story. We got to know about your school life, the kind of student you were, your student life, your marriage, and lastly about your family. I was totally engrossed, I must say, essentially being your evaluator, and it was really nice to know about your journey. Your speech content was really structured chronologically, and that was the perfect way to structure an icebreaker. A little bit of everything. How can you improve this speech? You came off a little monotonous. You may want to see your speech when you see the video. Most first speeches tend to be monotonous, but since you had this excellent content, I would like to see yourself challenged with vocal variety in your next speech. The best part of your entire narrative was your beaming confidence, which showed on screen, and you need to keep that spirit going and come back with better speeches. I'm sure you will be up with the pros in no time. Best of luck with your next project. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, President Toastmaster Urusa. Our next evaluator is another great president, and he's a very dedicated Toastmaster, and it is so great to see him after so many years. Toastmaster Jahazeb, you are going to be evaluating Toastmaster Talha Basharat. Toastmaster Jahazeb, the charge is yours.
Thank you so much. So Toastmaster Talha, it was an excellent speech, and I loved it. And I must say the topic which you chose, it was very important and very crucial. And you presented very important facts along with the proposals. So it was a complete package, and it was a topic which I wish we choose more often, like the social topic and the topics which really affect us as a company, as a country, and as a nation. As far as your speech was, concerned, you showed great confidence. You showed great command on your speech. You were fluent, and then you showed good body language and gesture, and there was clarity in your thoughts, and you were very clear in your speech. The points which I wish where you have an opportunity to improve, that was that you did not close the speech clearly. You did not put more time and focus to close the speech effectively. You could use some sentences, or you could make your speech in a way that you could close with good ending notes, or you can make such statements which audience can understand that you are going to close. So you are approaching to the end. And then further, I would suggest that you should consider that consider to use your vocal variety in a way that could enhance your message. While conveying some concerning message, you can lower or raise your voice in a way that could strengthen your message. That could be really effective for the audience. And the topics which you chose, the topic which you chose, it needed some kind of engagement emotionally as well, because you were concerned about the state of education and some kind of inequalities, or some kind of negligence from the government's part. So you could use your vocal variety in a way that could strengthen your message. And then I would suggest that you can use some personal stories, or some what we can say, some ideas, some personal things you can attach to your message that would engage your audience more. So that was over, and I would like to congratulate you for the wonderful speech, and I wish you best of luck for your next speeches. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jazeb. Our next evaluator is a man with great dignity and a wonderful story about riding a motorcycle. DTM Rashid Dastagir. and he is going to be evaluating our Toastmaster with the killer smile, Toastmaster Imran Raza. So DTM Rashid Dastagi, the charge is all yours. DTM Rashid, are you with us?
Rashid Dastagir is just coming, so you may proceed to another evaluator.
Oh, okay. Okay. We welcome you to Karachi Toastmasters, and she is going to evaluate Toastmaster Amir Bilal, a very sincere Toastmaster who will always greet you with a rose. So Toastmaster Shaila, the charge is all yours.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Karachi Toastmasters, good evening once again. So my speaker today, TM Amir, was having a very long project, actually a 24 minutes project. And it's not easy to conduct such a long project. So first I congratulate him to have this very, very long project done very well. TM Amir, you were very confident from the start of the project, from the start of the panel discussion. And I felt that you have a hidden moderator and a facilitator in your personality that maybe you will be showing more and more in the future. You were very serious and you knew what you are doing. It showed that you have properly prepared for this project, and you were lucky to have the panelists who are very cooperative with you. This is also a quality of a moderator, to choose the members who are going to be helpful in the discussion in the end. You were able to give them full freedom and support to express themselves instead of trying to stop them during the discussion or asking them questions. So you gave them full freedom to take from one speaker to the other, and then build the discussion on from one facilitator to the other one. And you gave equal time to each speaker, like 3 minutes each. So these are all positive points in your project today. However, when I go to the things that you could have done better, I felt that if you could have managed the time in a way that you give 2 minutes to each speaker, and then keep certain minutes at the end of the discussion where you could bring all the points from all of them together and then conclude the speech in a way. Or you could have done the project in the form of question answers, where you pick the points from one speaker and then pose the question to the other and see how the discussion goes. It would have led to more engagement from the audience also. So this is something that you can improve in the future. And another thing that you can challenge yourself is that you are very serious when you are talking, and adding a bit of sense of humor would make your discussion even more engaging. With this, I congratulate you to complete such a difficult project today, and best of luck for the future. Back to the General Evaluator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shaila. Our next speaker is our great joke master, Toastmaster Hiba Rais, and she will be evaluated by our great motivator, the great DTM Zaid Kalia. DTM Zaid Kalia, the charge is all yours.
Thank you, the great DTM Shahrukh, for giving me the charge. Toastmaster Hiba Rais delivered wonderful speech, and she gave a new dimension that we can also move around in the city and visit different places. It is good to see that tourism is improving in Karachi also. And the one thing which was in your speech, which was motivating for all of us, that if you face any challenge between your speech. You should have some courage to refer to your notes and don't worry about the audience, and start again and try to prove that you can deliver your speech. This was mind-blowing. This courage is very rare to see in the speakers. If they forgot and they go into some anxiety and they run away from stage, but you have the courage. You could have stopped at the moment, but you have started again your speech, and you have shown the courage and you have completed your speech. So full marks on the courage part. And you have brought in personal story, which was again a good way to engage with the audience, that you, your friend Ahmed, your parents visited and taken the ride and went to the Karachi and visited different places. It was engaging story. I have seen that you have used different type of gestures. I particularly like one gesture when you were referring to different things, comparing different things, and you were showing your right hand for few things and left hand for the other things. It was a good way to use hand gestures. What you can improve is start with your story, forget about Karachi, what it is and what numerics are. You could have started that we have one sunny day, or you can describe the weather and start with your story that before people started our visit, we book a ride and we started the visit, and you can complete the story. And your conclusion was also good, because you gave the message that our city is a metropolitan city, and it is and tourism is picking up, which is a good way to invite foreigners to Karachi, because our speech or our meeting is broadcast to foreigners also, so they can come and visit Karachi. It's a nice way to invite them. So all in all, for the next speech, do more practice, start with the story, and conclusion is powerful. And best of luck for your next speech.
Thank you, DTM Zaid Kalia. Is DTM Rashid Dastagir with us?
Yes.
So, a man with great dignity and a wonderful story about riding a motorcycle. DTM Rashid Dastagir is going to be evaluating Toastmaster Imran Raza, our member with killer smile. DTM Rashid Dastagir, the charge is all yours.
Thank you very much, DTM Sharp Shahnawaz, giving me opportunity to evaluate Toastmaster Imran Raza. And Toastmaster Imran Raza today delivered his speech on the project Introduction to Toastmastering. And as I earlier said, the objective of this speech about a time when the member was a mentee. It may be from any time in his or her life, and he has to discuss the mentee experience. And this speech should not be a report on the content of Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring Projecting. Having seen and repeated these objectives, I believe Toastmaster Imran Raza has successfully achieved the objective of this project. Toastmaster Imran Raza shared his personal experiences, 3 experiences from his life when he was a mentee, and paid tribute to his mentors at different parts of his life. First, when he got his job, and his mentor actually taught him everything about that job. And then Secondly, his friend, who not only motivated him to pursue a good education, great in his life relating to his passion, but also many things about his interest in computer programming. And at the last part of the speech, he told us about his biggest fear in life. And then when somebody advised, he came out of his procrastination and joined and entered in Karachi Toastmaster Club, a place full of angel-like monsters called Toastmaster. And the environment created by those angel or monster, whatever you can assume, and in that enabling environment, he started his journey of public speaking, overcoming his fear of public speaking, though the day he delivered his icebreaker speech, he went to relax for 4 times, but he didn't die, and he successfully completed his icebreaker, and now his journey is ongoing, progressing and progressing and progressing with great mentorship provided by the people in Karachi Toastmasters. Toastmaster Imran Raza, this is all about his speech, which is not only effective, but very inspiring for me and all the other participants and the new guest. And something very quickly about his body language, starting from the posture, because setting of his device was such that only very upper portion of his body was visible, restricting visibility of his hand gesture. So what I can see, he was very confident, stippling his hand most of the time and using his hand for effective gestures. Secondly, he was very confident and comfortable, very composed. The only thing for improvement I would suggest is to, because he was paying tribute to person, and we are emotionally attached with these persons, our mentors and other relationships. So we should bring powerful emotions while paying tribute to them, called vocal variety or voice modulation. So I will recommend to challenge yourself with voice modulation and vocal variety, so that we can gauge from your face and action whether you are happy, you are charged, like in emotional intelligence, whether you are a glad or sad or mad or scared. So please use vocal variety, otherwise your project was wonderful and we are all inspired and charged. Over to you, Journal Velvet.
Thank you, DTM Rashid Dastagir. Now I feel very charged. Moving on to the next session, the next part of the session, I would like to ask the role holders to please present their report, starting from grammarian, DTM Talha. You are the grammarian today, so please present your report.
Thank you so much, DTM Shanawaz. Yes. So again, I think it's becoming something of a pattern where, quite honestly, I struggle to find grammatical errors, but I tend to find a ton of great usage. So today was no exception. First, I would like to point out the errors. Someone used hell of a task, and while it's not grammatically wrong, I was very, very strongly berated by DT Samir when I used hell once in a speech. So let me pass it on to you. Never ever use hell. So instead, you can use hell of a task. You can use quite a task. Someone said a gift from the God could have been a gift from God. Put up their music could have been exhibit their music or display their music. What other things we can do? What else we can do in pantry? Something bugs me. Yeah, bugs me is not grammatically wrong, but perhaps a little too colloquial for the forum. So something bothers me could have been better. Flat car could have been car with a flat tire. And someone used unfaithful in the meaning that it was not intended. At least that's what it seemed to me. Unfaithful means you're cheating on someone. I think the intended usage here was someone who lacked faith or who did not subscribe to a faith. So other words could have been used like lacking faith. Now to move towards the good usages, someone used, in fact, our president used beautiful butterfly in the beginning. Very, very good tone to the meeting. Delicious aroma of biryani, epitome of celebration, modern day vice, insidious, economically ravaged, internalizes that stigma. Flying a rudderless plane, your mentor finds you. Long time of hide and seek with communication skills. What a day it was. Guess what? I didn't die. That's my favorite sentence of the day, by the way. Most parents would have shuddered. Secretly molding girls into young women of tomorrow. Opt for the services, and in evaluation, humor was evident. So that was my report, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Tala. Our counter, TM Sheikh.
Hello, am I audible?
Is our
I'm
yes,
sorry,
yes, you are audible.
DTM
Please, the
Shahrukh,
charge is
I'm
yours.
sorry.
No
Not
problem.
all evaluators are qualified, DTM Tala.
Can you come again?
Not all evaluators are qualified.
Okay, let me reset it then. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, again, I pushed the button by mistake. I did not intend to. So we'll come to that after the facilitator reports.
Yes, Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed, please present your report.
Yes, my report for today about the R counter is first DTM Maria, and her overall R counter report is 18, 8L, 8R, and 2 words of so. TM Latif is cleared, he didn't make any R. TM Rahma has made around 24 filler words, including 6R, 1 okay, 7 you know, and 10 so. TM Dishan Riaz has encountered 2 words, filler words. TM Talha Basharat, 3 filler words, and TM Amir Bilal around 11 filler words, including 4 1 you know, 2 and 4 so. So that is the report. TM Imran Rana and TM Urusa Kawal is cleared. They didn't make any filler words. Over to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sheikh Naveed. Hope to listen to your first prepared speech very soon. Our next role holder is Toastmaster Hiba. She is our listener today. So Toastmaster Hiba, please. The charge is yours.
Okay, thank you, General Evaluator. I'll be calling out some of the words and phrases spoken by the speaker, and everyone would have to guess it. Is my voice audible?
Yes, you are perfectly audible.
Okay, the first one is veil profound. Vague, profound?
TM Rahman?
No.
DTM Maria?
No. See again, I have such sharp ears. I detect such things no one does.
Oh, yeah. I have to steam the editing now.
It's TM Urusa.
Okay.
And then, wait a minute.
Your voice somehow it causes short-term memory loss.
At larger heads. At larger heads.
Toastmaster Rema.
Yes. Poor intellectual nourishment.
Rahma.
No.
Urusa?
Who?
Urusa? Toastmaster Urusa? President Urusa? No?
No.
TM Latif.
No. TM Talab Basharat.
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Lo and behold. Lo and behold.
Any of the prepared speaker.
Oh, yes.
Stuntman was doing stunts.
Latif.
Oh, no.
Zishan, Toastmaster Zishan.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Modern day stresses.
Toastmaster Rama.
Yes. Okay. Read and ponder. Oh God, this is very nice. No one has been listening.
Talha Basharat.
No, TM Amir Bilal. Okay. Women are marginalized. Some random person said it. I think it was some guest. I don't know who the name was, but someone said.
I won't use the word random person, but okay.
Okay, okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, I will share my boxing skills.
Latif.
Latif.
Yes. Media is propagating negatively.
Maria.
Yes. Pakistani artisans.
Maria.
Yes. Hina application.
Maria.
Master Maria.
No,
Yes.
Latif.
Yeah, no, Maria. Hina, Latif, kidhar aayega, sir?
We put it in the rug.
It's you.
Rama.
Yes. Okay. Multifaceted approach.
Amir.
Urusa.
Rahma.
Close enough.
Seems counterintuitive at first. Seems counterintuitive at first.
That would be Rama, right?
No. TM Talha Basharat.
All right.
Wing it.
TM Urusa.
Yes. Okay, and he kept her in gloom.
Urusa.
Yes. Okay, and warm and hospitable.
Maria. Or
Yes.
it was you?
No, Maria. Insidious.
Master Rama.
Yes. In the pantry having lunch.
Toastmaster Latif.
Latif.
Yes. Calligraphy or the painting art.
Maria.
Yes.
Toastmaster.
In the primitive time. Sorry. Should I stop?
Yes, I'm asking the timer. Do we have time?
We just completed 3 minutes.
All right.
Okay, fine.
should I go for one last one because already?
No, my electricity is gone. It's connected soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's Shahrukh Shanawaz Hussain.
Hello, this is Toastmaster Hiba.
Yes, I'm done because my
Oh,
time is out.
thank you, Toastmaster Hiba. Toastmaster Latif, please present your report as fast as you can. I don't have much time left. The power is out, and I don't know how much time I have.
Okay, so
please present
we
your
have
report.
3 evaluators. DTM Mariam spoke for 1 minute 30 seconds. President Urusa Kawal spoke for 1 minute 20 seconds. And DTM Rashid has spoken for 5 minutes 36 seconds. Rest all are qualified.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latif. So please vote for the best evaluator. And I am going to be presenting my general evaluation. So we did not start so late today, and it was a very good idea to start at 7 o'clock. Toastmaster Usher, great job. Keep it up. I am witnessing a great transformation of you becoming a great speaker and a great Toastmaster. I really hope that you will continue to do roles and give prepared speeches. Theme of the day was compassion, which is need of the day and can't be enough, and we can't have enough of it. So it was a great theme. And this 2 days of Speakathon is something new for me at least, and I'm very surprised. I don't know if it is being happened for the first time, but amazing, and I'm surprised, and I really hope that we will have this kind of event in the future as well. Speakathon is a wonderful event hosted by Karachi Toastmaster. It actually allows our members to present and complete their projects. So I really encourage Karachi Toastmaster to continue with holding Speakathon 2 days, 3 days, and to test our limits. As always, I always miss tea and biscuits. I know we have to adjust to the new normal, but I do miss them. I also miss mugs being presented by Toastmaster Imran Rana every time in our meetings. And today we had great participation from female Toastmasters, DTM Maria, TM Iram, TM Rahma, TM Shaila, TM Urusa, TM Hiba. Please, this is my dying wish. Before I die, I want to see so many female DTMs of Karachi Toastmasters. I want to see Karachi Toastmasters having decided that it is a club with most and so many female DTMs. So please, it is a humble request from all our female participants, members to continue presenting their speeches. And world is very small. Today I was dealing with the case of bullying. A teacher was being bullied by a supervisor. So we were studying about bullying, and we were assigned to read these articles. And one of those articles was from TM Rahma Unib about mental disorders in the third world country. And I was amazed and proud, and I really know that the Toastmasters of Karachi, the members of Karachi Toastmasters are really something. And Toastmaster Rahma Unib, keep doing your work. Your work is being noticed. So really appreciate it. And today's speech about mental illness, that was the highlight of our meeting today. And members from other clubs today participated in our meeting, and I would really encourage VP Education to please incorporate more of our members from other fellow clubs. This is very encouraging to see all the friendly faces, especially DTM Jahazeb. I have seen him after so many years, and it was really nice to see him. So please continue inviting other members, and it is my earnest request from the members of the other clubs to please continue joining our meeting. And it is a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but the friendly intervention is now very less. So it is a good thing that our members are now more and more free to make decisions. And it is not a bad thing, because as DTM Talha says, that the frequent friendly intervention is the chief characteristics of KTC meeting. So yes, it is there. It is part of our meeting. But now today, I actually at least felt that it was very less. And again, I would just like to end our meeting with this last line, that we need to hold these kind of special events more. And the speeches were brilliant, performance by role holders, speakers, everyone was amazing. And it is an honor being part of KTC and being able to participate in today's event. Back to Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DTM Shahrukh Shanawaz, and indeed you did a great job, and you must, as you are the DTM. So, I must say that today's meeting is one of the historic meeting of the Karachi Toastmaster Club, as we are doing a speakathon on multiple days. That our round one is have been done today, but there are more speeches for tomorrow. So I request you all to please join us tomorrow with the same zest and enthusiasm. And I think I should give charge to the president now, so she shall continue. So over to the president, Toastmaster Urusakawal.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ali. That was really wonderful. Now, before we ask for anything else, let's cast the vote for big two, or are we giving the vote everything to them?
Toastmaster Urusa.
Yes.
I have a suggestion for you.
Yes.
Don't announce the result. Announce it tomorrow.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes, I think this.
So okay, that is a good idea. Please cast the vote. Today's result we will announce tomorrow, but can we announce the other results like the critics and the best three? I think we can big best three results we can have. The best evaluator we can announce, and the big four we can announce. I think all the results. You want me to?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that ends. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So that ends our Speakathon day one. And for the results, you'll have to come back. So let's meet tomorrow, 7 o'clock, same place, same time. Have a nice time having dinner, and that pain for the results tomorrow. See you 7 o'clock tomorrow.
So see you then tomorrow.
Brilliant idea, Imran. Brilliant idea. Yeah.
Imran, sir.
Okay. Okay, everyone.
This is a gift of trouble.
Tomorrow, not only we have KTC speakers, but we have 3 speakers from Dow IBHM Toastmasters Club as well, and also evaluators from other clubs. So stay tuned. Same time, same place, and same code, same channel, and same password. See you everyone tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you.